the start. Round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Prix for life at the minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. And here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malou wins here in Baku. Right then, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the World Racing Championship. We return for the 6th round of the season, and boy is it good to be back then for the World Racing Championship. Of course, feels like a while since I've been here, of course, only a week, but that week has felt very long for some reason. But great to be back, and as I mentioned, the 6th round of the season. We're here in Miami, where we've been before. We were here for the social race only a week or so ago, and then I believe last race, of course, we had Qatar. Now we are back in Miami, but of course first time for the Tuesday division in a little while. Season 3 we're on at the moment then, if you are just joining us, and tonight should be a beautiful race, starting off with rain though here in qualifying, which to be honest we don't normally get that often, so it is quite rare to get this kind of weather now. We do have rain though here in Miami, looking very wet indeed. Drivers opting for the intermediate tyres for their laps around at the moment, and we have 20 drivers here. Nova Piper not setting a lap time today, but he will be in the race later on, but apart from that, the remaining 19 drivers are all here and ready to set laps. We've got drivers like Mad Mark, we've got Lucas, we've got JF1 making his debut here on the Tuesday division, but Mad Mark in the chat does tell us it's a dry race. Thank you very much for letting me know, Matt, I appreciate that. So we do have dry, but after this session, a wet qualifying though still, and I believe that's going to carry on the whole way through with only 13 minutes. It's not looking like that's going to clear up at all. So a wet quali but a dry race, which is quite nice to hear. As over the line, Matt Scavenger 1:39.965, but hopefully a nice one this evening. The World Racing Championship, of course, always trying to be a better place. And some birthdays that we have today. Happy birthday to Blake and Saban, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday to them, of course. Nice to celebrate birthdays, and there's not many leagues that I see do it, so it is nice that WRC are doing this. It's a really, really nice idea, and you know, keeps everyone feeling included, doesn't it? It's a nice thing. But happy birthday again to Blake and Saban. Hope you have a lovely day. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day. But drivers on the lap times now, and as I was speaking, there has been lap times on the board now. It's Sidemen on provisional pole, 1:38.277. Still the early stages though, and a long, long way to go until, you know, the end of this session. So it's going to be intriguing to see where the drivers actually end up. Rain, it is a tricky one. It really is a tricky one. MCL, consistency is key for him. He's always good at that. And the Alpine across the line, second place behind his teammate at the minute, 38.992. But this is the thing I'm saying about the rain. The gaps you get between the drivers, look at that. It's about 0.7 of a second gap between Sideman and his teammate. It is humongous. As the Zappi now splits them up as he crosses the line, second place. You never quite know where anybody is until the remaining, you know, the final few seconds of qualifying. That is when you really know what is going on with the pace of the drivers. We have MCL third now, then Lucas 4, Humboldt 5, Max Scavenger 6, Darrell 7, Lotfi in 8. We've got Matt Connor in 9, Remy Blues 10, Danny in 11, I believe, leading the World Championship as well. He, off the back of a very nice race, I believe a win last week. I will fact check all of this, but I believe it was a win last week in Qatar for him. As I'm going to have a look for the Tuesday race results then. Yes, last week. Let's have a look then how it wrapped up in Qatar. The Grand Prix race results then. Danny, yes, he did take that win last week around in the Red Bull. Then from Milk, second place, and MCL in third. Speaking of the World Championship leader, he now sets provisional pole. It's a 37.7 for Danny F31, who now finds himself as the quickest driver on the grid at the moment. Still 11 minutes remaining, but it is absolutely possible here for the Red Bull to take pole today. I'm not entirely sure who took pole last week. It was Ferrari for Life who took pole at the LaSalle International Circuit then for the 5th round. Can Danny do it today? At the minute, I don't know if Ferrari for Life is here actually. It isn't looking like it. I can't see him. So, yeah, he's not joining us tonight. So, Ferrari for Life out of it, will not be able to go for 2 poles in a row. And that'll be it for him at the moment. But Tuesday standings as well. I didn't get it prepared tonight, but in the future I will get it back on the screen. I do apologise about that. But in terms of the Drivers' Championship, if I can get through all of the pictures, Danny, of course, like I mentioned, does lead 157 points and extended the gap even further from the Qatar Grand Prix. It's a brilliant lap time from him, and even better now for Zumi at 137.192. Now he's on provisional pole. This is what I'm saying. You never quite know what's going to happen, what's going to go on then throughout the course of a lap and throughout the course of qualifying. But yes, back to the standings. Mikey Boy running in 3rd in the World Championship at the moment. P4 is Maloon, 5's Andy J. Price. Zumi's in 6th, who's just set provisional pole. Humboldt 7 is Matt Connor 8, Roma Blues 9, and Nova Piper in 10 at the minute in the championship. But the points between the top 10 is pretty damn close. It really, really is. The only big gap we have really is between Danny and MCL, the championship leader, running away with it, and the gap of points is just incredible. He's got a 58-point lead over MCL going into this round, which is insane. It's insane at the minute. He's given it a really good shot, and it might just be Danny's season. This is round 6, and by the look of the calendar, we're saying we have 2 races left, Jeddah and Monaco. So apparently 9 tracks, is it? I think it's right, 9 tracks. Yeah, I think it is. 9 tracks, including the Singapore pre-season. So we have Jeddah next, then we go to Monaco for the final round of the season. I cannot believe it's Monaco last race. That's crazy. Hopefully we can get through it all right. But anyway, back to your qualifying session then, where the championship is shaping up nicely, and we are getting into the latter stages now. That's why I'm emphasising the championship. We are really getting into the latter stages, and these points that are picked up today matter so much for the drivers, especially for people like Danny. He needs to extend that gap even further if he wants a bit of peace of mind, but he's now found 7/10 of a second, and this is absolutely going to get him on provisional pole at the moment. He was on there a moment ago, but of course in the wet conditions things change, and Danny has lost that title at the moment. But now in the Red Bull, he finds the final few corners here in Miami, and he's going to go foot flat to the floor to go parallel with the Hard Rock Stadium. Is Danny then going to go back to provisional pole? Yes, he is. It's a 36.628, and the Red Bull once again quickest this evening. It's the Ferrari behind him. Second place is happy 3rd, but a great lap time from the Red Bull, the championship leader. With only a few remaining minutes of this session, now cements himself at the top. But how long is he going to keep that position is the question. We've seen so many changes in the order in this session alone. It's incredible the way it changed in the wet conditions, and I'm excited to see this one then. P3 in the World Championship is F1 Mikey Boy as he makes his way down and towards the left-hand side. Braking hard then, swinging the car to the left and getting the turning quite nice, but of course he's doing what he can. Slippy conditions, the grip levels are going to be horrible compared to what he'd be normally getting in the dry, and this set of corners is definitely one of the most technical on this track. Many DNFs can happen through there, many mistakes. You can clip your tyre on the inside wall, and that is your lap. That is your race and your weekend over. But F1 Mikey Boy gets through very nicely. He has found a purple middle sector all the way down in P12 on the track at the moment. Has he got enough here to get himself onto the front row of the grid potentially? In qualifying, sometimes he's a little bit lower than you'd expect, or sometimes he just absolutely thrashes it. And let's see what he can do today. Then this is it. The final time for him, I believe, over the line for F1 Mikey Boy. It's a P7 with a 37.6. I don't know if it is his final time, because to be honest, I can't see the final remaining minutes of the session at the moment, but it isn't looking like we have too long left. And it's been great so far. It really, really has. The action has been here. Jay says he's decent at Jeddah, hoping to be drawn in for that race. We'll see, mate. Are you? I'm assuming you're a reserve then, Jay. Is that? I believe that's your position at the moment, I think. But Speaking of him, he is down in P19 at the moment and has invalidated on his current go-around, but I believe he's going again. He's got 90% battery, burning it down this straight here. It looked like he went into AI mode. That might be why it was burning. But he heads into the final few corners as a Mercedes flies past, brakes hard, and makes the corner quite nicely. That was Darrell then, who was invalidated, but he's currently sat in the second row of the grid in a really, really strong place with only 5 minutes remaining of this quali session. Your final times of the day are going to start to happen in the next few minutes. It's going to really begin to ramp up now then, ladies and gentlemen. With 4 minutes, 50 seconds to go, 19 available drivers on the grid, and they are all raring to go in the wet weather this evening. Malou makes his way through. He's been on a really nice run of form at the moment, and the Ferrari at the minute, second place in qualifying only. What's that? There's 4 thousandths of a second then between him and Danny. That is an insane lap time from Malone. He should be happy with that, but I'm sure he's gonna want to try and find that extra 4 thousandths of a second. He knows he can find that. It is minuscule time. Just needs to replicate the lap that he did before and find that extra bit. And Malone could be the driver starting on pole position today. It is more than possible. We'll find out. We'll find out in a few moments' time. He's been on a really good bit of form recently, but. Can he claim that win today? Is it going to happen? Malone in the previous race finished just outside of the podium, P4 for the Ferrari in the Qatar Grand Prix. Humboldt unexpectedly sets provisional pole, a 1.6 second improvement. Through goes the kick. Sauber onto the front of the pack this evening. That is a beautiful time from him, as he sets himself clear of Danny by a small margin today. Had Mad Mark behind then, his teammate, 1.1 seconds at the moment that he's improved by. It's now MCL with a 36.4, a little bit more breathing room between him and the man behind. MCL on provisional pole in the latter stages. Mad Mark on his way around as well, but only a few minutes remaining now, and the Alpine of MCL has put himself on pole. He has also been on a brilliant run of form recently, and getting himself up there highly. Zoomy across the line earlier on, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, he was on provisional pole, but it was the early stages. He had it taken away from him quite quickly. Now he's proven that he's absolutely able to do that. Have you seen the time that he's just set? Now, I've just realised a 35.4 for Zumi, a 35.4. It is a whole second quicker than the lap times we've been witnessing at the moment. That is absolutely humongous for Zumi, as he gets himself on provisional pole by about a second here over MCL. That is incredible. Is he going to be beaten, though? Is he going to be beaten? That is a huge gap between 1 and 2 at the moment. And, of course, as the drivers go on, the gaps get bigger and bigger and bigger. 1 second is just the end of it. But Sidemen now 2 seconds improvement. The track's getting drier. He's now a 35.458. This is going to turn into the last driver to cross the line. Has the advantage here. The track is drying up. It's been insanely wet, but all of a sudden it is getting much drier out there than here in Miami. Max Scavenger disqualified from the session for parking in a dangerous location on the track. Now he's out. JF1 then is out of the session as well and retired. He has not set a good enough lap time, unfortunately, today. He's down in P18 starting today. It is Nova Piper 19 and Max Scavenger in 20 as Danny over the line with nearly 2 seconds found. It's a 34.6, and the lap times keep getting quicker. The Red Bull is the fastest driver here at the moment. Sidemen second place then with a 35.4. Now let's see what lap times we're going to be getting then. Humboldt has invalidated. Darrell is up by 7/10 of a second, and there's some drivers in front of him as well. I believe Mad Mark's just about to set another lap time. No, he's starting one, I believe. There's a Mercedes behind him, though. Romeo Blues up towards the line. A slight improvement at the moment now. He's going to try and make that final step. What can Romeo Blues do from a P17 to P10 for him across the line now for the Racing Bull, I believe, of Matt Connor. He finds a second, but it's still P16 for him as Darrell across the line with a second improvement. Darrell goes up to 4th place then, and a Ferrari now crosses that line that I think Malone to start a flying lap at the moment. There's lots of laps coming in, lots of lap times. This is getting quite real now for the drivers. Zappi as well starting one in a moment, and McLaren coming round two of Luco's starting lap times over the line. 2.1 second improvement for Luco's then. He gets a P5. As MCL on a lap around as well, and we've seen some beautiful lap times from him in previous stages. In the front end, twitching around now. MCL trying to get himself straight and narrow towards the line. Across the line for him. It's only P6 for MCL. Small improvement, but not enough for any major places. He stays in 6th position then. P7 for Humboldt. Luco's then we've just seen set P5. Danny retires on pole at the moment. Darrell in 4, making his way around again, but with a fuel light on, it's looking unlikely for today. Maloon is one to watch. We've seen him up on provisional pole earlier on. He's now found nearly a second then on this lap at the minute. A second would get him quite a bit higher here, but I believe around the P5, P4 time then for Malone. It's 1.1 seconds found now at the moment for the Ferrari. This Scuderia has not got any help from the front. He's trying to get a bit of a slipstream from the Mercedes there. He pulls up behind him, now in towards the final corner here in qualifying. The track getting much drier. This is looking good for Malone. Can he continue this lap? Can he get himself into the second row, the third row? It's looking absolutely like it. Malone across the line. It is even better than that. The front row of the grid for Malone here in qualifying, a 35.0. Absolutely unbeatable for him. Just behind Danny. Insane lap time from Malone at the very end of qualifying. The front row of the grid for the Scuderia Ferrari. Sidemen 3rd, Zumi 4, but the man of the hour, it is Danny in the Red Bull who takes pole position. Head of Malone on the front row of the grid. We have got a really nice race shaping up in front of us, everybody. Do not go anywhere. This is going to be brilliant. That's a good point from Jay, actually. So Zappi gets himself up in 3rd as well. We have just seen some beautiful lap times. Danny on pole, then over Malone in 2nd place at the end. Zappi 3rd, then Sidemen lines up P4. Zumi 5, Darrell 6, Luco 7, 8 is MCL, 9 is F1 Mikey Boy, and 10 is Matt Connor. Here we go then. Race intro coming up now. Has dropped down 2 places since the start. Round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Prix for life at the minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. And here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malone wins here in Baku. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is it, the 6th round of the season then here in Miami once again, but this time for the Tuesday division, and we've had a very wet qualifying here. Now going into the Grand Prix where it's looking very dry, so completely different conditions this evening with a 3.3 mile track. Quite a hard one to get right, of course, in that middle sector at the very end as well. Gets pretty technical in the wet. They did very well in qualifying, but it's going to be interesting to see how they can handle it going into this race. Here's the tyres we're going to be using for the Grand Prix, then different to the qualifying section. The soft, the medium, and the hard. It's C5 soft, C4 the medium, and the C3 the hard, ladies and gentlemen. as we go into the session this evening then, where we do have the formation lap starting, and we get into it very quickly indeed. Danny then on pole position ahead of Maloon, second place. It's a very strong front row of the grid and one to watch this evening. This is going to be fun. It's going to be very nice indeed for the sixth round of the season. Then we go to Saudi Arabia, and then we go to Monaco at the end. 8 rounds here for this season, so a fairly short season. I believe the first season was 12 rounds. I'm not entirely sure if it was. Usually is 12 rounds in a lot of leagues. 8 rounds is fairly short, but it does keep it interesting. That is why I like it. It is good. 8 rounds is a very nice time. 8 weeks of racing to decide a championship. Always good fun. Keeps people interested as well. And that is why they do it. But of course, we only had 19 drivers setting times. Now we have 20 with Max Scavenger at the back of the grid. Nova Piper 19, JF1 18 on his debut on the Tuesday races. But up at the front, who was in doubt? Danny, F31, coming off the back of a Grand Prix win in Qatar. He now comes onto pole position and now might just be able to secure that win again. It's looking like every week goes his way in the Tuesday division. It really, really is. Maloon, P2, he's on a really good bit of form at the minute, and it's nice to see him doing so well. Such an improvement from that first season. He is here now, running in second place, and has a chance to take the Grand Prix lead down in towards turn 1. Whose night is it going to be? As we wait for Max Scavenger to line up on the grid at the very back. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. The Williams, the final driver to line up on the grid then. And it all gets real now for the drivers. 6 rounds of racing here in WRC. Here we go then, the 5 lights ahead of the drivers here in Miami. Danny on pole this evening as we get away. It is lights out and away we go, in a great start from the Red Bull. Then is the Ferrari going to be able to challenge you in towards the first corner. Maloon then from the front row of the grid makes a dive on Danny. He's now level with him through the first few corners then. Is Maloon going to take the Grand Prix lead here in Miami? He does on the start. Maloon leads in the Scuderia Ferrari, followed by Simon up to second place then, as Danny with a horrible start drops down to P5. Countless places lost then since the start at the moment. Zumi gets up to 4. Zazapi still running in third then, as Sideman with a great start runs in second place, now loses it, drops down a place then running wide. Sideman back to third as Maloon leads out in front then on the first lap of 29. A brilliant start from him. Danny not so much then. Not entirely sure what happened from Danny. He's down 4 places at the moment, down to P5. Luco's behind that then, looking to make an overtake, but a brilliant run then for the drivers at the start. Maloon in the Ferrari with a brilliant start this evening. Can Zazapi catch him though with a 3/10 of a second gap at the minute? Zazapi 1 place gained. The top 4 all gaining 1 place since the start, but we're going to get some overtakes down here surely. No DRS then for this lap. Next lap around it gets activated. This is the main DRS zone down the back straight then here in Miami. Is Zazapi going to make the move without the DRS? It's not looking likely at the moment, but he does weave side to side then. Not enough to make an overtake just yet. In towards the final few corners to wrap up the first lap of the race. A dive up the inside line for Humboldt as he takes his wing off on the left-hand side. A clip of the wall for the Kick Sauber as he's now into the pit lane to get that changed. And a horrible start for Humboldt then, as he is forced to lose all these places, dropping down to P18 then this evening, losing countless places today. Maloon then leads still by 3/10 of a second. That's a safety net he's got at the moment. It's not too much at all. 3/10, absolutely nothing in that at the minute on the second lap. And Zazapi's all over the back of him then. This time around with the DRS as well, it's going to get very real now for the drivers. The DRS will be activated, so defence is going to have to come into play from the drivers behind. We might even get an overtake here. The DRS will be activated all the way down and towards the left-hander, but he's gaining even before he gets the DRS then. Here comes Zazapi for a Grand Prix lead. He goes to the outside line of the Scuderia Ferrari. Through goes the Racing Bull. He leads the race here in Miami. Maloon drops down to 2. Now Zumi is on the scene as well, and Zumi's in 4. Now trying to make an overtake round the outside of the Alpine, who's up the inside of the second Ferrari. It's all cracking off then through the first through the middle sector, on the first few laps. But Luco's with a 3-second time penalty now. The first driver with a time penalty goes to Luco's, and he's got to keep MCL behind here, not looking like he might be able to. MCL pretty good at these kind of things. He does it every day, and through goes MCL then, and move on the McLaren up into 6th place this evening. Ahead of that then, we've got Zazapi still leading. Maloon's trying to fight with his life here as Sidemen is behind that and looking to try and get ahead, but drops back slightly now. The DRS will be activated. Of course, Maloon gets that dose as well from Zazapi, heading in towards turn 1 on the 3rd lap. And Maloon, one of the only drivers here, still in the same places as where he started, of course. He went up to the Grand Prix lead, lost a place, fighting with Zazapi. Zazapi's managed to claim it. Zazapi in the Racing Bull, your leader. He has driven brilliantly at the moment, making that overtake, making it look very easy indeed. Gets ahead of the Ferrari, but nice to see both Ferraris slightly working together here. Maloon in 2 and Zumi is making his way through as well. He really is putting the pressure on Sidemen. However, Danny is now gaining again. We know what Danny's capable of. The man started on pole position and now drops down places on the start. It wasn't a great start for him, but makes it more interesting, of course. We know what he's capable of. He wants to try and make his way through the pack if he can now. That's going to make the race a lot more rewarding for him if he does go on to win it at the end. As the drivers plant the throttle now, they are absolutely foot flat to the floor, down in towards turn down in towards the final few corners then, and is Zazapi going to be able to keep the Ferrari at bay? This is a brilliant start, and really always is here in the World Racing Championship, the best league around on the Formula 1 games, because of the absolutely brilliant racing it produces. And once again, we might just see it here. Maloon looks for the move, cannot make it stick. F1 Mikey Boy then started down in P9, 1 place away. Now he's up to P8 then. Not one of his fantastic starts, but you know, he has gained a place, which is of course a positive. Any places is good. Some potential overtakes behind here as well. Zumi this time trying to put his car at the inside line of Sidemen, not leaving him any room here. And still not able to do it, but Danny's now on the rear side as well. This is getting fairly real. As the Red Bull closing in on the backside of Zumi, and we know now he will get the DRS, and he's already got that jump on him. You can see the extra speed that he gets out of the final few corners here. Now the Red Bull's going to plant the throttle. Now he's going to go side by side with the Ferrari with the DRS as well. Is he going to be able to get ahead? The Ferrari outbrakes him, but sends it into the backside of the Alpine. On goes the Ferrari with wing damage. Through goes Danny in the Red Bull. Now another place gained for him. He's back onto the second row of the grid. Now through the final corner, gaining on the Alpine. He looks for the inside line here. Sideman drops a place for a moment. Danny's through into 3rd place, but how long for as contact is made? And Danny still, he can't hold it. Sideman has managed to just about hold that position here. 3rd place for Sideman then. Danny down to 4. MCL now 5 as Zumi watching this all unfold. Danny goes up to 4th place. JF1 with a 3-second time penalty. Well, I'm getting close there to the Alpine. Goes Danny. But not enough for an overtake just yet. Only 5 laps in of 29, and the laps are ticking by nicely. Of course, dry weather as well, which we were told by Mad Mark in the chat. His HUD told him. And now here comes MCL. Looks for that outside line move. Is absolutely on today. The Alpine can make this work, but he's getting a little bit too close there. Left it way too late. Didn't make the move. But it is the 6th lap of 29 in the moment. Zazapi's just had an awful exit there as the back end sliding out. Maloon's in 2. 3 is Sidemen, followed closely by Danny then. And, you know, the list goes on. Everybody's fairly close now, heading in towards turn 1. Zumi on the backside of MCL here and makes that dive. Looks for the inside. An easy overtake if he can make it. Sticks Zumi. Is he going to be able to get ahead of the Alpine here? MCL has just about took it. And Zumi down to 6. Well, here we go then, a great start to the racing action here. Zappi's still your leader, and you can visibly see the gap that he's building to the drivers behind. It is 2.2 seconds then at the moment between them. Then Maloon in 2, and he has got a huge pack behind him. Oh, it is close then. Darrell and Zumi giving it some action here, as well as the Aston Martin, who's getting close in on the scene. Andy J. Price not too far behind here then. He's going to get the DRS here, as well as the Ferrari, but who's it going to benefit more? That is the question. The Aston Martin now gaining on Zumi. Is it going to be an overtake? He gains closer and closer, but still, there is not enough room there for him to make that move, even if he tried to outbrake him. But now he looks for the inside. A little bit better through that final corner. Here comes Andy J. Price on Zumi. They are fighting it level, pegging in towards the first corner. Who's going to outbrake who? Is it going to be the Aston Martin? He brakes slightly later than the Ferrari. It will take the outside line, which will turn into the inside. Through goes Andy J. Price. Now he is ahead into P7. That was a great move then for Andy. And it's still not stopping from behind, is it? It is Zumi and Blake now, as through goes Zumi ahead. After being deposited down, he's dropped down so many places. The past few laps, he really has. It's a shame to see. There's Blake in P9 at the moment. He is gaining on the Ferrari in front. Can't decide which way now. Goes to the outside. Blake through into P8 for a moment as the Ferrari outbrakes him. And ahead he edges for a moment, and contact made there. The Red Bull of Blake hits the side of Zumi. Zumi gets out in front, and that might have been a slight bit of damage here for Blake. Oh, the Mercedes moves to the inside here, and MCL looks for a move. Maybe he didn't know he was there, but he pushes him wide. Here comes the Alpine now, trying to gain on the Mercedes of Darrell. MCL trying to make places up. His teammate goes into the pit lane. Now he's going to pass him. He's also going to try and pass the Mercedes now on his inside in towards turn 1. We've seen this move happen a moment ago. Can this Alpine get the edge on the Mercedes for the inside? He cannot this time around. Lap 8 is given to Darrell for a moment. Mac in the chat, is this equal cars? Yes, it is equal cars, yes, for the Tuesday division. Well, let's go back to the front then, shall we, and take a look at what the front runners are doing. Zappi still leading, and that gap is now 1.6 seconds at the moment. Danny's behind that in 2. Is Maloon in 3rd, Darrell 4, MCL 5, Andy J. Price in 6th, with an Alpine in front of him of MCL, who has gone through. Awesome drivers have improved a lot then. Yes, Mackie, they really have. Really have. A lot of the drivers here, the journey they've gone on to be where they are is amazing. It really is. Well, here we go. This is big then. Zappi in the pit lane. He's on the medium compound tyres, as well as many other drivers here. Not everybody went for that strategy, but there is a few that have decided to do the same thing. Zappi then in the pit lane, as well as an Alpine behind him and an Aston Martin. A few more coming in now, a lot more coming in actually, as there's Appy on the new hards, as well as MCL and Andy J. Price and Matt Connor and Sidemen all doing the same thing. Sidemen went in the lap before, sorry, but still on brand new hards. But we are 9 laps in, 20 remaining laps in this Grand Prix. 20 laps remaining. And Danny, back in your race lead. He is on the hard compound, so he's going to go longer than the medium runners. This might be where he gains his ground. This might be where he wins this race. You never know. He is leading out in front. And usually, I wouldn't think too much of it, of course, with the safety, with the pit stops coming in and stuff. But we know what Danny's pace is like, and now he's out there unleashed it in the front. You can see the gap is gaining on Malone just in these, you know, few corners. Maybe Danny's going to be able to put a bit of a gap between the drivers and really, you know, catapult himself forward here. 20 laps to go and his back end slides out. Maybe he's starting to see a bit of wear on those hards already. There's Malone then in the pit lane now for the medium runners. He is also in. Is anybody else going to follow him? Matt Scavenger does the same. Ollie Southall does not. He carries on. Then he'll be one of the longer medium runners here as he tries to make an overtake on this Racing Bull of Zazapi now. Is he going to get through? The Haas driver hangs it up the inside, but then through goes the Racing Bull. It's an easy move for him. Zazapi just has to hold himself on the track, and he's through into 6th position. Sidemen with a 3-second time penalty now for multiple warnings, so cutting the corner then, unfortunately. But we are awaiting a pit stop for Daryl, Zumi, Ollie Southall and Romeo Blues, all on the mediums. And everybody else that is starting on the mediums have gone in. They're the only remaining medium runners now. And let's see how far they can go. Let's see how far they can push them. I'm looking forward to see. Well, let's look at this behind them. Blake is going to make that overtake on Zumi. This is for 3rd place here. He leaves it really late then. Brakes insanely late, and Zumi's now at the inside line of him. This is going nowhere for them as into the pit lane goes Zumi. His mediums are crying for help as the hards are going to get on for him now. Best knower in the chat. I'm very good, mate. Welcome in to the stream this evening. Good to have you tonight. Hopefully you're doing well as well, mate. Hopefully you're all good. Well, we've seen countless overtakes today. We've seen many pit stops at this stage in the race as well. And JF1 retires in the pit lane, so no safety car through that, but he is out of the session. It's a shame to have him retire on his debut then. It really hasn't gone the way that he wanted it to go. But, yeah, that's it. That is it for JF1. He didn't have a setup either, so he was struggling out there today, unfortunately. Just as best knower in the chat says no DNFs as well. How funny is that? Sidemen and Ollie Southall change places. Sidemen goes up a place now into P10. And down the main straight we go. It's getting very close between Zazapi and Blake here. Blake does hold that out. And you can see the new hard runners now catching up with the old hard runners. And this is an overtake here then. As the Red Bull sends it up the inside. Sorry, the Racing Bull sends it up the inside line, and the Red Bull And Zazapi into 4, ahead now of one of the hard runners, the old hard runners. Blake, 11 laps old on them. Darrell, the one of the oldest medium runners as well. Ollie Southall too. I wonder how long they're going to be able to run them for. Danny Cookton, Tuesday's fair play. Yes, you're absolutely right. Danny is doing well at the moment, but of course he does need to go into the pit lane. However, he is gaining the gap between the drivers behind. It is getting considerably larger. Darrell now into the pit lane, and his 11-lap-old mediums, they're absolutely cooked now. He's going to need to get them changed, which he's doing, and he is in, getting on the brand new tyres. But Danny's up in front, and is he capable of taking a win today? You know, we've seen him do it many times. We saw him do it last week, in fact. Is today another one of those days? I was not expecting, I don't know if I was expecting to see him do it today. We saw him do it last week, but it can be up and down, you know, and in this league, there's so many drivers that have got the possibility of winning. Crispy in the chat. World Rally Championship in F1? No. A lot of people get confused. Oh, hang on a minute. The round goes Romeo Blues. Catches the car, but very lucky not to be in the wall there. P19 for Romeo. Loses the place to Ollie. But yeah, Crispy, a lot of people do get confused. It's just, of course, the name of the racing league. World Racing Championship. Not World Rally Championship. World Racing Championship is WRC in our streams. Well, 14 laps in at 29 then, ladies and gentlemen. This is about half race distance now then here in Miami. We're approaching that area, and we have got a pit stop for Mad Mark now as the Kick Sauber comes in. And his 7-lap-old hards going on to the hards again, potentially, or the mediums. Crispy with the jokes. Great idea. F1 Mikey Boy then, everybody's managed to get himself up into second place. One thing that's gone unnoticed, actually. And, of course, he's on 9-lap-old hard, so I'm not too sure how long they're going to go for, but we can see Danny's 13 laps in. He's not struggling that much. So it's interesting to see this. How is it going to play out for the drivers that haven't pitted yet? How long on these tyres can he go? As Zazapi trying to catch F1 Mikey Boy here, considerably younger tyres at the moment, and only 0.4 of a second the gap between them, and as he gains as much as he can here. The Racing Bull very close behind him now. This could be an overtake. Looks for the inside. Through goes the Racing Bull. Can Zazapi claim second place here ahead of F1 Mikey Boy, who will have the inside line through here. but can Zazapi do it? It's looking like he might just be able to, switching it back underneath. Through goes Zazapi then, ahead of F1 Mikey Boy. But it's all happening again then. Mikey trying to outbrake Zazapi here, but quite a bit further back for that to happen, so having to wait around. Not able to make the move at the moment. Mikey drops down to third then. And Zazapi ahead on newer tyres at the moment by about 4 laps. And in towards the first corner as well. There is no play from Mikey. Can't make any overtakes then. And he's going to stick behind Zazapi for a moment. He has no choice but to do so. Matt Connor trying to make a move on Nova Piper as well. 2 drivers we've not spoke about too much today. Here comes the Racing Bull. Another Racing Bull trying to make some ground, and through goes Matt Connor. He does make it through past Nova Piper, looking like a very nice move. But can he maintain it? Because here comes the Williams and Max Scavenger, nearly 3 abreast into the left-hander here. Off wide there goes the Aston Martin, switching back for Matt Connor now as he takes the outside line. Matt goes into P11. Nova Piper behind that in 12, Max Scavenger in 13. And look at that then, it's a sitting duck is Matt Connor now as Nova Piper sends his car through, brakes way later, and into P11 he goes. Thanks for joining, Best Noah. Have a nice rest of your week. Have a nice week, and see you later, mate. Luco's now in the pit lane on the new hards then for Luco's. This is insane as well. Danny then 16 laps at the minute on the hards. He's running them long, and he's going to see how long he can get them. Of course, the hards are designed to go long, and someone like Danny, who is fairly decent at keeping the tyres within a respectable range, he can just take these tyres as long as he wants. The gap between him and Zazapi has come down, though. No worries, Crispy. Have a good night. Thanks for joining, mate. Somebody's round. This is some overtaking as well going on here. Look at this then. Darrell in the Mercedes goes through ahead of Lotfi then, and Sidemen drops back behind that as well. But I believe we've just missed a kick Sauber spinning around. It looked like it was Humboldt here. It is. Look at that. Absolutely no wing remaining on that kick. That is such a shame to see them from him. Humboldt, who actually was doing pretty good in qualifying, and so what? Let's have a look what he's got. 6 places lost then from the start. That's a shame to see. P11 he started. Down in P17 now. And struggling. F1 Mikey Boy going long on the hards, but not as long as Danny has. But 13 laps on the hards then. He goes in for new tyres. And he'll take the hards till the end. He's humbled with a 3-second time penalty. And coming out of the pit lane, the Red Bull then there. Just about ahead of F1 Mikey Boy, I believe that was. Now Mikey's going to try and fight back. Newer tyres by 5 laps old now around the outside. And through goes Mikey, up a place since coming out of the pit lane. Oh, that is big. Somebody's in the wall. It is Mad Mark then. Into the barrier in the kick Sauber. If he takes this long, he's going to get himself disqualified, I think. Is that disqualified? I don't know. He might even bring out a safety car if it carries on. He's sitting in the runoff area. Yellow flags, the driver's slowed down, but we continue racing then without any safety car as he goes through one of the drivers there. But now into the pit lane for him, as well as Danny. Here we go then. Danny and Zazappi both in the pit lane. Danny's on for the mediums. That was his plan all along. Take the tyres as long as you can and pick up the mediums at the end. Danny is on course for a Grand Prix win here. He has got Darrell in front of him, Malone in front of that, and Andy J. Price ahead of that. They're all looking like they're going to pit before the end of the race. It's a long time on those hards if they want to, if they want to make it till the end. And Danny's on brand new tyres, which are going to last till the remaining few 10 more laps. Zazappi and Danny having a battle at the front as well. Danny goes into 4. Zazappi now down to 5 on the hard compound tyres. Both of them on brand new tyres, in fact. Of course, Danny on the brand new mediums, but he does get through, of course. He will hold the advantage on the mediums here, but the tyres won't last as long. Here comes Zazappi up the inside line, then ahead of the Red Bull. Taking it back then, does the Racing Bull. Sister team cars having a nice little battle on lap 20 of 29. Dark Storm in the chat then, supporting Andy. As Andy running, into the barrier there for Mad Mark. He's crashed a few times today. Is he going to retire? Is the question. It looks like he's trying to drag it into the pit lane. He's got a bit of wing damage on the front right, but he continues on. As Andy J. Price leading this Grand Prix, of course. The 11-lap-old tyres at the moment. Malone behind him on 10-lap-old tyres. And then Darrell on 7-lap-old. So fairly old tyres then for the drivers up at the front. Of course, they were the new hards. Only a few moments to go. Mad Mark in the chat. Rear wing damage, he says. Oh, man. That is what is going to be causing him to struggle. Rear wing damage. That is pretty much your race over. Oh, yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? It really is. As drivers pass him, and Mad Mark waits on the side of the track then until it's clear, and now out ahead. And Andy J. Price makes that pit stop. Why is Blood looking at it here? Isn't that good? Yeah, you're right. They probably aren't going to factor in the rear wing damage, are they? Well, it does look different to the. Maybe that's just the wing design. Never mind. But anyway, Matt Conn with a 3-second time penalty. There's not many penalties here today, but equally not too many places to get them, is there? Really, as Mad Mark, I believe, off again. Humboldt, his teammate, goes through past Romeo Blues here. A place gained there into P17. And Ollie Southall fighting with Blake, who does go through. Ollie drops a place. And this is looking like a nice battle too. Zoomium MCL. MCL, this is for his 6th position here. Through goes the Alpine. He gets ahead then into 6th. Zoomy behind into 7. But a great overtake for the Alpine now. How long can he hold it for? He's on the newer tyres here by 8 laps. As he crosses the line. And we are into the 20s on laps, of course. So not too many left now. Yellow flag's coming up. I believe that's Mad Mark again. Really struggling with the rear wing, but persevering on. You've got to admire it. And everybody getting ever closer now then. Danny is watching this unfold in front of him. Zazapi goes into 2nd place. Darrell now tries to close Danny off. Danny looks for the inside line. Is the Red Bull going to be able to make the pass here on the Mercedes? He makes contact with him. Danny now into the podium places ahead of Darrell. Through goes the Red Bull. Darrell nowhere to be seen this time around. Here comes F1 Mikey Boy then in 5th place at the moment. Now trying to claim 4th and might even be on the podium this evening. The Mercedes cuts him off then. That was a little bit of dirty racing there for Darrell as he hits F1 Mikey Boy. And through he goes. Danny now, whereabouts? Darrell. And Malone in the pit lane as well. That is a big thing for him. Malone on the softs, even bigger. 6 laps on the softs for him then. There's 6 laps remaining then in this Grand Prix, and it is really now coming down to the wire for Danny. He's got 1.9 seconds to gain on Zazapi in 6 laps around. It is absolutely possible for him, and I am looking forward to see this. I really am. I think the move is going to happen very soon. And he is not far off at all, is he? He really isn't. Danny in 2nd place, 1.9. His tyres 4 laps old, the exact same as the Zappies. However, he is on the mediums. The mediums should be better at the moment. But as time goes on, and in these next 6 laps, they are going to start to fall off. We might not see this Danny win here. Zazapi might hold the advantage. He might hold the tyre advantage here, really. His tyres are going to go longer. With them being on the same tyre age, in those 6 laps we've got, now 5, it's getting, you know, less likely for Danny at the moment. It really is. As lap 24 of 29 that we have had so far. A long race so far, but no safety cars at the minute. It's been quite a clean one in the majority of the laps, apart from the lap 23 incidents there with Mikey and Darrell. It was a slight punt then that we saw, but apart from that, everything has been fairly decent, of course. And nobody really within battling range at the minute at all. We're looking for Danny here, but, you know, what was once a bit of a dream for him to win, it's looking like the dream isn't even alive anymore. 2.8 seconds is the gap. And have you seen F1 Mikey Boy? Here he goes then. Mikey is going for 2nd place. You know what? He might even be able to take a win here at the end. He is on an absolute roll. Now trying to get ahead of Danny then. Looks for the outside lines. Zazapi's only a few seconds in front as well. Mikey's got a real chance here at taking a Grand Prix win again. Mikey now for 2nd place on Danny. Up the inside line towards turn 1. The Red Bull's going to get outbraked here. Through goes the Haas driver. F1 Mikey Boy up into second place on the grid. Phenomenal racing from him. He's up 7 places since the start then. P9, this man started. Look at where he's got himself. He's got 2.5 seconds to gain to win the race. Is it possible? I think it is. But don't get your hopes up too high, because Zazapi does have the younger tyres at the moment. And it, of course, it's going to get worse for Mikey as time goes on, having that 1 lap disadvantage. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it will show. And the gap nearly up to 3 seconds. Mikey might not have enough in him here to take this race win all the way. It could be Zazapi to hold on to it till the end. Danny's got himself still in the podium places, but dropping a place from second and from taking a win last week. It's not really where he wants to be. And now, look at this. Latelands then. Mad Mark with the penalties. Danny makes contact on the Haas. That's going to help Darrell catch up now. Danny loses a bit of time on lap 25 now. Now on to lap 26 of 29. We have some position changes mid-pack at the moment. Not entirely sure who it was, but some action going on there as this is continuing on here. Andy J. Price on MCL. That was an easy move, wasn't it, then, out of there. And the Aston Martin through and up to P5 for him then. As we watch Zazapi in the Racing Bull. He is on lap 26 of 29 at the moment and has carried this on his shoulders for a few laps now. He wants to take that win. He's more than capable of doing it. Of course, we interviewed the top 3 drivers as well, and it's looking like we're going to get to speak to him first as your race winner. It is always, always good to speak to Zazapi. The top 3 do not want to get a penalty at this moment in the race. Could it be Zazapi's day is what you want to know. F1 Mikey boy running into, and I've got to say, one of the greatest comebacks I've seen in a long while. Mikey's had a really nice race today. Would have been better for him if he could have took the win, but it has not gone that way today. With, of course, Zazapi having that slight tyre advantage, and I dare say, pace advantage today as well. He really does. Zazapi is pulling away. 3.6 seconds, now 3.7. He's really flying in this car. And across the line, that is your penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. This is it then, the remaining 2 laps of the race. No safety cars and no time for a safety car now either. A full run all the way through. As you can see, Mad Mark, I believe, here trying to make some, trying to get himself around the track. I've got to say, I do credit him for his perseverance here with the rear wing damage. And, you know, just continuing on. He's getting the job done, isn't he? And it's nice to see Mad Mark continuing and not retiring from the session. You've got to give it to him for that. Andy J. Price on Darrell here. This will be for 4th place if he can make it work. Don't think he can make it. He might just be able to, actually. The DRS is now working all of a sudden down in towards the final few corners. Here comes the Aston Martin braking much later than the Mercedes. Andy J. Price wanting this 4th place, but he does have a time penalty then, which is going to really ruin it for him. Put a cloud over his good racing today. Andy J. Price into 4, but with the time penalty, it's going to come down in for him, unfortunately. But this battle's continuing, and Darrell might just be able to take it back, but Andy J. Price has kept it. This is the final lap of the Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. Zazapi, your leader. Zazapi is going for the race win. It is F1 Mikey Boy in 2, and Danny in 3. Mad Mark with a time penalty as well, but what a race it has been, ladies and gents. Final lap. 6 rounds in, then 2 more to go. Next round's the penultimate round, then the final round of the season in WRC. How quick has that come around? But this is it. We are nearly at the end of the season, and this is going to be quite nice for Zazapi then to pick up some good points today. He has held this on his shoulders for a good few laps then this evening, and it is, of course, about to go all his way today in Miami. What a race from this man. What a race. Zazapi has dominated this evening, and it's so nice to see him coming round to win a race. A reserve driver in WRC, not going for the championship this season, here for fun and games. Zazapi across the line. He's going to win here in Miami. A brilliant win from Zazapi, who was unstoppable today, closely behind with an insane comeback. It is F1 Mikey Boy for 2nd place on the grid this evening. Danny then crosses the line in 3rd. He takes the final spot on the podium from pole position. MCL 4, Darrell 5, Andy J. Price 6, then P7 is Lucas, 8 Malone, 9 Lot, 10 Sidemen, 11 Nova Piper, 12 Max Scavenger. Well, a very nice night of racing, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed tonight. Really was good fun, especially in the starting stage of the race. Well, there you go. That is it. Round 6 complete. Roll on the final 2 here on the Tuesday division of the World Racing Championship. The championship is coming down to the wire, and to be honest, it's looking great for Danny. And so here's your finishing results then. Race winner goes to, when we get it, if the, there we go, Zazapi then takes the race win tonight from F1 Mikey Boy. Then from Danny, it is fastest lap to Ollie Southall, driver of the day, F1 Mikey Boy. Most overtakes him as well. And cleanest driver goes to Max Scavenger. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is your interviews with the top 3. Right, hello.
Hello.
Hello, mates. Let's have a look. Oh, Zazapi's here now. We'll go with Zazapi first, then we'll move on to you, Mikey, if that's all right.
Yeah, cool.
Good stuff. Zazapi then, good to see you again, mate. Taking the win tonight. A great win, of course, as well. Give us your take on the race.
I don't know. I don't even know what happened, bro. I'm on 0 hours sleep. I was just locked in the whole time.
So,
but very good race. I think I don't know. I'm so tired.
how did you, being this tired, how have you pulled this result together?
I really do not know.
You surprised yourself.
I mean, the first lap, yeah, I surprised myself. Yeah, I do not know what's happened there. But yeah, it was a good win. I enjoyed the race. I was just driving in. Yeah, I was just driving in my zone.
Was there a particular moment you'd say you could pinpoint where you knew you've won it?
When I was growing the gaps in Mikey in the closing laps.
And as a whole, Miami, some drivers can find it tough. Of course, you were pretty tired today as well. Did you find it a tough one to drive and keep between the lines and stuff? Of course, you got no penalties, but how tough was it to to keep the standard of racing high?
Under the bridge, that one, that little
Yeah, yeah,
chicane
yeah.
there. Yeah, I think if you were spectating me in my last lap, I think I went 50 miles per hour over it.
Really?
Yeah, I thought about that corner all race.
Oh my. Well,
But yeah, it was a
mate,
really good race.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Honestly,
good race.
great result, and given how tired you are, that is that's something to be really proud of. It really, really is. So well done, and
Thank you,
thank you for your time.
No, you're all good.
Right, F1 Mikey boy, it's good to speak to you, mate. It's been a little bit of a while, and I was, to be honest, not expecting to see you on the podium today. That's a great result from you.
Thank you, mate.
Was it P9 on the grid, I think, and
Yeah, P9, yeah.
making your way through. Were you expecting to, getting P9 in qualifying? Were you expecting to make up that many places, or have you really surprised yourself with that?
I was confident in making a few places. Miami's one of my favourite tracks, and I've got a good setup for it. I was just pushing as hard as I could in the rain. I knew that the race would be dry, so I just kept my dry setup on and just pushed as hard as I could. I was happy with P9 in qualifying, to be honest, because I'm absolutely shitting. But yeah, no, I expected to gain positions, but I was thinking maybe sixth. To take P2, I was very happy. I saw that there was battles and there was a big train, so I just took the opportunity and pit early, which gave me like a massive undercut on everyone. I think I would have stayed a bit closer and maybe just been in DRS for the end of the race, but I got pushed off the track by Daryl, so that cost me 3 seconds. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Beating Danny, he's obviously leading the championship,
Yeah.
so good points for the team, trying to get the constructors and hopefully maybe just keep one foot in at chasing Danny
down. What were the tyres like to manage around here? Was it difficult or was it not too bad?
Yeah, they were horrible.
Was it?
I mean, I don't think it would have been as bad if I'd stuck to my strategy. I was going to do 7 on the medium, 11 on the hard, and 11 on the hard. But I pit on obviously lap 5 on the medium just to get out of that train. So it just really did stretch the hards. I think it's unfortunate because I think it's one of the tracks that's definitely quicker on a 2-stop. And I know a lot of the drivers in here like doing 1-stop, so I really had a good chance if it wasn't raining in quali. But yeah, I'll take P2. I'm happy with that.
And finally, we have Saudi Arabia next, penultimate round of the season. Are you looking forward to that one?
I used to hate that track, but since I've got this new wheel, I actually don't mind it. It's a lot easier to drive that track. It's certainly not one of my favourites. I'm not the quickest on it, but I think it's a very difficult track. So there could be a lot of opportunity with incidents and safety cars and stuff. Just try and beat Danny again. That's my aim, and then off to Monaco for the final round of the season. Can't wait.
Good stuff. That's it. Well done, mate. Good result. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, mate. Great comms. Cheers.
Danny's in the thing if you want to interview him.
Yep, we'll do. Thank you. Right, Danny, we all good to have a chat?
Yo, yeah.
Hello, mate. Speaking to you every single week. Good to have you back. Great result, 3rd place. Are you disappointed with that after starting on pole, or are you not too bothered?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean, at the start, I don't know, the ghosting is, I go to the defender position assuming ghosting isn't on, and then I find Maloon's ghosted, but Zazapi isn't, so, like, I don't know who I'm meant to be leaving space for, and then,
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
it's just a bit
agree.
confusing
I
in that.
agree.
Yeah, I'll kind of just defending Finnair, really. And then, yeah, I don't think my strategy was optimized. I probably should have pitted a few laps earlier. And then, yeah, that will kind of just moving on the straight, being a bit naive at not thinking that I was going to follow Zazapi through. And then, yeah, a bit desperate weaving and took my wing off.
Well, what's your take on the tyres? How difficult was it to manage them?
Yeah, it was definitely just find mainly out of the final hairpin not to spin the wheels, then it's okay generally. But yeah, I think I did extended my hard stint about 1 or 2 laps too long.
Well, looking at the championship, it's looking pretty good for you. Decent points gap. We've got Saudi Arabia and then Monaco for the final two. What's your take on them two races?
Yeah, I quite enjoy Saudi. I don't really like Monaco, if I'm honest, but I'm in a fortunate position. I think I might, if I potentially could wrap the championship up in Saudi, so
Yeah,
yeah, it'd be nice, and you just take out any of the variability at Monaco.
absolutely. Well, thank you very much, mate. Good to speak to you once again, and thanks for your time.
Yeah, well done to Zazapi and Mikey.
Thank you, Danny. Congrats on podium, mate.
Thank you, yeah.
See you guys.
Good night, boys.
Catch you.
Great commentary, Jack.
Thank you. See you later, guys.
See
Right, bear with me 2 seconds while I wrap it all up. But yes, great race from everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Really enjoyable to watch tonight. Hopefully, everybody has enjoyed it too. We're going into the final 2 rounds of the season now. It is getting incredibly real. And I really, really cannot wait to get into it. I really, really can't. 2 rounds left. Is Danny going to win it? It's the way it's looking at the minute. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. But one final word about the sponsor here in WRC, of course. Proudly sponsored by Boss Property Rentals, and we couldn't do what we do without having these brilliant sponsors on board. Called the proud sponsor that we have, offering the luxury sea view Airbnbs for both short and long stays. And a bit of a description about it then that you can see on your screen. This spacious and distinctive apartment is designed to keep the whole group comfortable, featuring stunning views across the sea and the local marina. It's ideally located. You'll be surrounded by vibrant bars, excellent restaurants and charming boutique shops. As well, just a short drive away, you'll find some of Pembrokeshire's most breathtaking coastline and beaches. Perfect for days out and coastal adventures. And, whether you're visiting as a couple, with a family or in a group, it's, there's plenty to keep everyone entertained. It is a brilliant place to be. And, Boss Property Rentals, ladies and gentlemen, give them a check out. Absolutely brilliant little business that sponsor us, and really, really lucky to have them on board. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the race in action tonight. Thanks very much for joining me. Have a good evening and good night.